ladies and gentlemen. Today we come to a day and time to interview one of the leading respondents in 3D printing. I'm sure many of would know the organization by the name Ncam. Now, Ncam has been actively working as a government institution promoting 3D technology in the country. A year-old institution, but actively working in the space as if they've already been able to register almost a decade. So the kind of efforts been made is only because a person in the helm who has been able to take the course forward. So today I have an opportunity to interview Mr. Jaspreet Sidhu, and it's an honor. So Jaspreet, hi, a very good afternoon. So Jaspreet, may I understand, where it all started, at your personal level, and of course for Ncam, the way it has actually been able to shape up.
First of all, thanks Shibu for this interview. I think it all started way back in 2003, 2004. That's when my HOD of my engineering college advised me to look at few courses. One was, of course, additive manufacturing, robotics, industrial automation, and few other courses he suggested. So I started looking at the global scenario and where exactly I can land up in terms of finding a right institute for myself. And the fortune favored me, and eventually landed up in UK, in England, and did my master's in additive manufacturing way back in 2005, 2006. And since then, I've been involved in the additive manufacturing market across Europe, across Middle East, and finally now in India. So I've been heading Ncam since last May, over a year now. And Ncam, as you might be aware, is a joint initiative between Government of Telangana and Government of India in partnership with the industry. The major aim and vision of Ncam is to grow the additive manufacturing in the country. We have focus areas in terms of R&D, skilling, and startup incubation, which we've been delivering over the last 12 months since we've been operational. So overall, it's been going pretty well, and we hope that our partnership with industry respondents like you, partnerships with other industry members continues, and we keep on pushing the AM industry forward in India.
What has been the gap today, since you've been working in this space for a year, building an impetus for 3D technology as being in the epitome? What has it been, and what is the gap that you have been able to see here?
So there are various gaps actually. There's a long list of gaps which we have. But if we more look at India perspective, then the gap widely remains in terms of technology. We don't own any of the additive manufacturing technologies, but I agree that over the last couple of years, we are going in this direction. There's a lot of work going on across many R&D centers. We are trying to develop our own technology, and hopefully over the next couple of years, we'll see homegrown companies, homegrown technologies, startups becoming bigger in this space and leading India into the global foray.
And also, what is your vision for the next 5 years? This is a very generic question that people would actually want to ask, but even otherwise, in terms of what you see and what you envisage.
Our vision predominantly remains in terms of market growth. We want to ensure that India reaches at least $1 billion worth of revenue over next 5 years. So that's the vision which Government of India carries. That is what is envisioned in the National Strategy document. And exactly Ncam is working on delivering the similar mandate. So we will ensure that the market grows many folds over next 5 years. And there are many catalysts into it. It could be R&D, it could be skilling, it could be startup incubation. It could be further development of the local ecosystem in terms of standards, certifications, getting access to a lot of government schemes or relevant businesses, and opening up global markets for the Indian players. So there are many catalysts which we are envisioning, and that's why we're looking at growing this market many folds.
Also, some of the companies that you've already incubated, Jaspreet, one being the Matrix Nano, and the other one being Mekua, and likewise, if you can just broadly dwell upon that.
So we have actually 7 startups now currently incubated at Ncam, and these startups are working on different areas, different verticals. Like Matrix Nano, as you mentioned, that's working on the powder material development, whereas Mekua is working on binder jetting technologies. We have another startup called Advaitech, which is working on software development. And there's another startup working on medical material development, and there's a startup called Retropanda, which is working on 3D printed eyewear. Then we also have Green Jets UK, which has actually entered into the Indian market through Ncam. They are a UK-based organizations currently incubating at Ncam and taking support from Ncam to grow within the Indian market. They are into 3D printed cryogenic engines, predominantly looking at drone engines. So that is another startup which we have. And there's one more startup which is again working on antifungal problem and finding 3D printed implant solutions for that. So overall, if you see, all our startups are into some kind of a technology development, and all startups have that caliber or have that potential in them to take the industry forward in the Indian market. And that's exactly what our lens is when we're trying to select the right ideas for startup incubation at Ncam.
So congratulations, Jaspreet, for all the efforts been made, and wishing you all the very best in your endeavor and also the future prospects that you keep identifying, and see that India has a potential growing from here for additive manufacturing. All the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Shibu.